Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan set that'll have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. We are continuing our run of showing you chronologically what I call the Chris Claremont verse. I started with Classic X-Men #1, which reprints Giant Size X-Men #1 plus extra supplemental material, and we've gone in order, covered all the annuals. I do have a playlist. We are now looking at Marvel Fanfare #2 from 1981. I did issue #1 yesterday, so here we go with issue #2 and this beautiful, just gorgeous cover by Michael Golden. Now, I want to show you something, and that's his colors. He does the colors himself, and just does a great job. Magenta, then just right here with a little red, and then back to magenta. It's just gorgeous. So Marvel Fanfare was a way for it was heavy stock paper, similar to what we're using now. It was a bit of the glossy paper. Even back in 1981, it was just so different, but it was really expensive. These issues were at that time $2 a pop. Now, put yourself in 1981. I mean, you're talking about a $5 comic book, which now you go, well, comic books are $5 now. So regular comic books were like 50 cents. This is $1.50 beyond. So now do the math, and you're probably looking at a $10 comic book in today's market. So this was quite the thing. Marvel Fanfare showed a lot of stories that were written. These ones were new, but there was a lot of stuff that Marvel would pay people to have in backup. They were called inventory stories, and Marvel Fanfare was just a way to get these inventories out the door because for whatever reason they were not needed. So we're picking up right where we left off here. Marvel Fanfare, we're going to be covering Marvel Fanfares 1, 2, 3, and 4, which all have some new stories. And like I said, they are chronological order on my playlist. I have an X-Men playlist. Feel free to check that out. I will also be covering New Mutants. I will also be covering X Factor. A lot of stuff here in what I've dubbed the Claremont verse. Even though Claremont won't write every single story that we're going to show, he writes most of them, and he's instrumental in everything because he's building this giant epic through X-Men. And we're going to go all the way through, and everything, like I said, is in chronological order. Even some of the new stuff that's being published, even now, we're going through. So we're going to have Excalibur, some Wolverine, lots of stuff. So all right, so we picked up where the T-Rex was, and here we have Tanya Anderson, and then we just get a lot of exposition here. And look at this hatching here, and then here comes Ka-Zar with Zabu. Now, I want you to look at all the hatching that is being done, and Michael Golden is listed as a inspiration to Todd McFarlane. You can definitely see the McFarlaneisms that will definitely that Todd McFarlane copies here. Michael Golden is absolutely positively oh my goodness. I love his work. So I have these issues on trade paperback, and these are phenomenal. I remember when I first looked at them, just I was so disappointed because Dave Cockrum will do issues 3, and then Paul Smith do issue 4, And I was like, man, but neither one is Michael Golden. That's just beautiful here. Again, he does the coloring. I just want to stress how unique and different these colors are in how they're applied here. Look at this here as they attack this dinosaur here. And then Ka-Zar, of course, brings in his warriors here. So Tanya falls down. We're going to get a little exposition here as to how we got here. So a little recap of the previous issue with the angel, and they're going in search of Sauron, who's the man here, right? Carl Lycos. Now, I love this version of Angel, and I love these empty panels, and just love how Golden just cuts into the border here. You can see it here. I try to do that. I'm doing a comic book for just for fun, nothing that I'm gonna be putting through. So every time I just see this, I try to do my open borders myself here. Love the magenta being used with the pinks here. So again, we're getting a recap of last issue here, and her seeing that T-Rex here, and all of a sudden she wakes up, and there's Carl Lycos, her are they married? I don't know. I think it's just her boyfriend or a guy that she's got feelings for. So, and he says here, "It's all right, Tanya. You're safe now. Nothing can hurt you. You're among friends. It's all right. It's all right." And of course, she recognizes the voice, and Carl says, "You should know the face too, though I admit it was relatively clean shaven when last you saw me. Hello, Tanya." Carl, oh my darling love, and they kiss. Now, keep in mind, Carl Lycos has been in the jungle, probably has body odor, probably hasn't brushed his teeth in years, but hey, let's just kiss. So, all right. So now it's nighttime here. Everybody's kind of laying down here. And so Ka-Zar says, "Our goal is the ruined citadel where you and your friends were attacked. Its construction was ordered by the mad god Garak and his high priestess Zaladane. Together, they mean to conquer the Savage Land. With the aid of the mutant X-Men, we ended Garak's reign of terror. He himself was slain. Zaladane taken prisoner, his legions dispersed, their power forever broken, or so we thought. Lately, though, we've heard rumors of a resurgence of Zaladane's cult, this time led by a cadre, I think that's how you say it, of superpowered mutants created years ago by the X-Men's archfoe Magneto. I like this. I think it should be Magneto, personally, because it's a magnet, but most people say Magneto, so we'll go with that. But it should be Magneto. So, the creatures I saw, asks Carl, possibly Tonga and I set out with this war party to try to learn what was going on, and if necessary, nip the problem in the bud. Um, as Tonga says, that, my friend, is beginning to look a bit more difficult than we anticipated. He goes, Ka-Zar, the thorn barrier. And he calls out, "Warriors to arms, we're under attack." And here comes, look at this beautiful, not a pterodactyl, oh my gosh. Triceratops, God. How awesome. Again, look at the coloring, a little orange here, the green, the orange, just, so beautiful. They're hitting us from all sides, and then they knock off Carl Lycos here. And he goes, "Carl," and then we go down, so we have to go down here, because that's where the arrow. Something struck him, a gigantic bird. I can see it in the flight. Oh no, the scraps of that costume. It can't be. And of course, Angel. So, if you remember in the previous issue, they were transformed. And of course, here we have Spider-Man here. And he's being attacked by this giant spider who happens to be Spider-Man. So Ka-Zar's like, "Good Lord, beautiful art. Look at this." Just. And so Zabu is gonna try and save Ka-Zar, but Spider-Man tosses him into the other guy. And so Ka-Zar says, "It's my turn now. All right, you shaggy horror, strike, take my life if you can." He's taking out his big sword here. Um, Big talk when the nightmare makes its move. There's precious little I'll be able to do to stop it. What's it waiting for? It's hesitating, but why? And it's, of course, because it's Peter Parker, and Peter Parker's trying to assume control of himself. Man, oh man, oh man. Oh, look at that. And so the angel, of course, grabs her, and she yells out for Carl to save her. And Ka-Zar kicks the Spider-Man spider, and there goes all the warriors kind of running away. And the poor Triceratops here. Cowards! No matter how far you run, how well you hide, you will be found. Blood has been spilled this night. Life's taken, and by all that's holy, you will answer for this in kind. And Ka-Zar's like, "I'm sure they're suitably impressed, Tonga. How badly did they hurt us?" asks Ka-Zar. Um, and Tonga says, 11 dead, 19 wounded, and most of those will die ere morning. Well, by morning. Near, maybe, I don't know. There's a, uh, we'll just continue. Zaladain's butchers dipped their blades in poison. Ka-Zar, from here onwards, we'll be fighting on their ground, facing an army instead of a raiding party. We cannot continue without more men. I would be leading my warriors to a slaughter. And Carl says, Ka-Zar, they've taken Tanya. I know, Carl, I saw. There's bitterness in your voice I have never heard before. I do not understand. And Ka-Zar says, it is anger, Tonga, and frustration. If we had a proper physician at hand, if we had access to a hospital, your people might at least have a chance of survival. I'm sorry, I love the savage land, but so much of the agony you accept as natural order of things seem to be so tragic, so unnecessary. And they ask, what's on your knife? A piece of cloth, Carl. And of course he recognizes it. It's part of Spider-Man's costume. Was the monstrosity I fought him? But what could have changed him so? What fiend could have done that to him? So, of course, we already know who because of last issue. So, their Ka-Zar leaves Tonga, he says here, just by the exposition, to bury their dead here, and they're gonna go here to the old Citadel, I guess. So, again, look at this use of freaking magenta here. I know I skipped around, but look at that magenta here. It just looks absolutely gorgeous. And it's not just that, but then the choice of the light blue with this blue here. Just great. So we're now at the lab here. Good morning, Miss Anderson. I trust you had a pleasant night's sleep, says Brainchild. And she's like, who are you? What have you done to Peter Parker and the Angel? What are you going to do to me? And Brainchild says, fascinating. You're obviously frightened, but still able to master your fear. I commend your courage. I am Brainchild. My associates and I are mutates. Our intention is to conquer the Savage Land. So, this device is a genetics transformer capable of evolving a subject or devolving one back to his or her primordial origins. Its effect on your companions you've no doubt noticed. However, I'm curious to see what it does to an ordinary human. You, Miss Anderson, will be my guinea pig. And so, suddenly here, Amphibious is hit from behind by Carl Lycos here. And so Ka-Zar has also shown up. So much for the element of surprise, but at least we've decked Amphibious and Gaza. Move hard and fast, Carl, before they can activate that bloody machine. Too late, says Brainchild here, and you can see that the machine has been turned on. And he calls out, Tanya, and then again, look at the colors, just the white and just the red and the magenta, just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And then for effect, you can see as he calls her out, the little blue here Oh, these guys really understood. I know I sound like an old man yelling, "Get off my lawn!" But man, oh man, these guys knew how to make comic books. And so Ka-Zar goes, "Don't just stand there, man. Charge. Don't give them a chance to react." And Carl says, "There's an easier way. Either Brainchild returns Tanya to normal now, or I blow his brains out." And he takes out his gun. "I assure you, Dr. Lycos, your threat has me quaking in my boots. Vertigo, they are yours." And as I let you know, this is the same Vertigo that will be in the Marauders here. So, and of course, you can see it affecting him, but he shoots anyway. And it does look like he hits her. And then Zabu's going to rush for the attack. And you can see here he is fighting Barbarous, but Barbarous takes him down. And Ka-Zar, of course, doesn't like anyone that hits Zabu. And says, "Anyone that hits my cat has to answer to me." And so here, of course, we have Spider-Man and we have Angel. And you can see Angel scratching Ka-Zar. And of course, while he holds him, Barbarous punches Ka-Zar here. Wow, great. Michael Golden is so good. With me, you don't just get a narration. You get to see me fawn over the art because the art is just beautiful. Michael Golden also did the X-Men, I'm sorry, the Avengers Annual 9, which I have also in the X-Men playlist. That is the first appearance of Rogue. So please also feel free to check that out. It is absolutely gorgeous. He penciled it and colored it. So Michael Golden truly understands the things. And so Barbarous is going to kill Ka-Zar, but even Spider-Man has had enough. He's like, "No." And so Brainchild says, "What are you doing, fool? Put Barbarous down at once here." And you can see here Barbarous is being thrown. Two of them. Barbarous is, of course, the one in yellow. But Angel, you can see here, is in red here, kind of just doing it into the two colors. And he, Brainchild says, "The Transformer destroyed. Ha, imbecile, you may have defeated me, but in the process, you've damned yourself. Without the Transformer, you can never be restored to normal. You live out your pathetic life as you are. Only I can reconstruct this device, and no power on earth can make me do it." And Carl says, "I've never felt so sick. Everything's quiet. The war must be over. And since I'm still alive, I guess the good guys won. But what about Tanya?" And so we're going to go down here. She's been devolved into a Neanderthal. With the Transformer Rex, she can never be cured unless. Um, so Spider-Man is thinking here. He's like, "Friend Ka-Zar, I hope no beg you kill me, please. Better to die than go on this obscenity." And Ka-Zar says, "No, my friend, you mustn't despair. There is always hope. We'll find a way." And he's like, "Please." And so Carl is going to now. He says, "This transformer creates mutants. I absorb energy to live. Theoretically, if I can drain the energy from Tanya, I might be able to return her to normal, but there's a terrible risk. Small doses of energy can't harm me, but a large one might well change me into my evil self, Sauron. Lord, give me strength. I see no other solution. If the gamble pays off, I can cure them all. I must be careful. The more power I take, the more I crave. My human self must remain in control." And so Ka-Zar finally goes, "I've no choice, have I? Either I slay you now, or the tribes will do it later, when your bestial nature has taken over for good, as they would any other rogue predator." But before Ka-Zar does it, here comes Carl Lakos grabbing, and of course, Peter Parker now is cured. "Ka-Zar, it's Carl. For the love of God, stop him. Stop him before it's too late." And now you can see him going on Angel. Witless woman, have you not realized that it is already too late? Angel turning human before my eyes, thinks Ka-Zar, while Lycos is transformed into something else. Behold the rebirth of Sauron. Look at me, ye humans, and despair. Never have I felt imbued with such invincible energy. Oh, sorry, strength. That pale, pathetic Lycos is gone forever. Only Sauron remains. And Ka-Zar says, he looks and sounds a bit shaky. Sauron must not yet be fully dominant. He's still vulnerable if we can take him. You've been beaten before, Birdbeak, and cured. Once savage, I would have crushed your bones to powder, but for such insolence. But I'm older, wiser. I know what you are planning, and consequently will deny even the opportunity of capturing me. Mark me, Ka-Zar, there is a war between us. It will be as fierce and bloody as this land you love, the land I was born to rule, and it can have but one ending. First, I will take your soul, then your wretched life. And so, we're going to return Peter Parker and Angel back to the land of everyone else. So, and Peter says, I guess this is goodbye. I wish I could say it's been fun. And Angel says, cheer up, Pete. At least you got a whale of a story, even if it is unfinished. And Angel says, I wish we could say, Ka-Zar. I know, Angel, says Ka-Zar, but you and Peter are barely able to walk. You'll both be feeling the effects of the Transformer for days, possibly weeks. You can't get the proper medical attention in the Savage Land. If you stay, you could die. I won't allow that. Tonga scattered Zaladain's cultists, though those blasted mutants escaped in the confusion. It'll take time for them to regroup, for Sauron to mold them into his army of conquest. By then, we should be ready for him. And Tanya says, as for my decision to stay, I found the man I love. I won't rest. I can't until he's cured once and for all or destroyed. I love that, or destroyed. So, you guys can't do the job alone. Sauron's as much the X-Men's foe and responsibility as yours. If you have us, we'll be more than happy to help. And Ka-Zar says, you should know by now, Angel, the X-Men are always welcomed on my domain. Then it's settled. Settled? So, did you see the look on Peter's eyes, Ka-Zar? He jokes and smiles. And all the while, he's in agony because he can't forget what happened. The same look is in Angel's eyes, Tanya, and in yours. Should I have left well enough alone, Carl would still be himself and a good, decent man. And two good, decent men would have been spared a horror that may scar them for the rest of their lives. Only you can answer that, as Ka-Zar starts walking away here. But remember, you came out of love, and you stay out of love, and Carl sacrificed himself out of love. You know, there are worse motivations. And so, next we will have the X-Men. So that actually concludes. These issues were much shorter because there's two parts. So Marvel Fanfare has would have two stories in it. So so that concludes. And we're not going to do the Fantastic Four story in there because we're just concentrated on X-Men. So Marvel Fanfare number 2. Chris Claremont and Michael Golden. Next issue will feature the X-Men, and it will have Dave Cockrum. We're done with Golden. Unfortunately, could only do these first 2 issues. So, like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.